Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil.
I'm bad.
We are recording Friday, September 19th, 2025. Dad, a little bit later than the week, of course, than we want to, but it's so difficult to record on Thursday night, especially when you got the football game on Thursday night football. You want to watch that, and then you're like, oh, shoot, we got to record. So Friday night looks like it is again. Next week, hopefully, we can get a little bit quicker out and get on Thursday, record, and have it out for Friday.
Yeah, it's good. Well, you can see I'm in my new digs. I had to move around. I'm getting ready to move next week to a new place, so we'll be all set up. I still have the stuff behind me there, but yeah, we're. I'm sitting in my chair because I got the table put away and everything, so ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it's a work in progress as we move through this next week or two, and then hopefully we'll have a more uh, set schedule and everything like that. But there's always struggles, but we come through. We record anytime we can. But let's get into it, Dad. Eagles got a big game on Sunday against the Rams. As always, shout out to the Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. They'll be at Rhinos Sports and Spirits. We will not be there again, unfortunately. And watching the daughter, wife's got to work on Sunday, so it's all good. We like to spend time with that little baby, so it's good for us.
Yeah, it is. It keeps us out of trouble too.
It does. It does. All right, Dad. Eagles playing the Rams Sunday, 11 a.m. For us here, 1 o'clock p.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern time, back over there in Philly. You got a weather report for me?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be beautiful. It's warm there today. It was 87. I think my buddy John was swimming in his pool, and I was like, whoa, I got to check that out because it's getting mid-September here. But yeah, it's going to be 72 degrees, 10, 15 mile an hour winds, but nothing big, a couple gusts here and there. Partly cloudy, about 67% chance of clouds, but no rain in the forecast. So it should be a beautiful fall, perfect day for football.
Gotcha, man. Well, let's talk about some injuries real quick. So, pretty notable names on both sides, both teams. I mean, both sides of the ball for both teams. Most notable for us going to be the top of the list. Jalen Carter was limited on Wednesday, full participant Thursday and Friday, but they still had to list him on what I'm trying to say on the injury report with a shoulder injury. Dallas Goedert also limited for the first few days, full participant today with the knee injury. Tanner McKee limited as well. Will Shipley did not participate. He's going to be out for the game. And Byron Young had a forehead laceration. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh,
that before.
wow.
He didn't
Wow.
practice on Wednesday. He wasn't designated Wednesday. I think he got injured then, and then Thursday he didn't practice. But Friday he was full. So you're listing Tanner McKee is questionable. Shipley is out. The other guys are a full go. What you thinking about these injuries here?
Well, it's good. I mean, I hadn't heard about Byron Young, but he had played well last week. So that's kind of encouraging because, the interior line, anytime they can give somebody a break, it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
Carter, I knew about the shoulder. I didn't think he was going to hamper him from playing. Good to
No.
hear Goddard's back. We really could use him. Last week, you could tell we were kind of, and it's still early in the season, so we haven't really got running and hitting all strides yet. But it was kind of tough because it made the running game a little bit less than stellar last week. So Goddard in, good stuff. We knew McKee and Shipley were going to be out. So,
Yeah,
and now how
definitely.
about the Rams? You got a Rams report?
Yeah, Rams report here. Big names up at the top again. Steve Avila, who is their starting, I think is left guard.
Guard.
Yeah, starting left guard for them. He is listed as doubtful, so expect him not to play. That's a big deal for the guys on the inside, Jomo and Jordan Davis playing opposite of Carter. Then you also got Braden Fisk, who's their second year guy, who really, I mean, last year the Eagles had two rookies who were in the running of Rookie of the Year for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and then the Rams they had two of the other guys, Braden Fisk and what am I trying to think of? Jared
Verse.
Verse. Jared
Yes.
Verse not on
Yes.
the injury report, but Braden Fisk listed as questionable. He was not a full participant at all. He was a limited participant on Friday.
Yeah.
Didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday. Two huge names on the
Yeah.
O line and the D line there, Dad.
Yeah. Vila did not practice at all. So he's
Yep,
definitely not going to play. I mean, there's
I
no
would
way.
agree.
So
I would
So
agree.
it's good. I mean, obviously Carter usually lines up on the right guards. So, but it's a good thing. And now he's going to get double teamed on the left. That guy playing on the right side should be making some plays. So we're looking
Definitely.
forward to that because we're going to need to get the Stafford.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Stafford, the guy that he's throwing to, Devontae Adams didn't practice Wednesday, but he was full on Thursday and Friday, and then they also had their tackle was resting. Devontae Adams and the tackle were resting. Then their tight end Colby Parkinson had a shoulder injury that held him out. He's the backup tight end to Higbee, and then Alaric Johnson another tackle. But rest from three of the six guys on the on the injury report, only 3 of them were for rest, so not much
Right.
to note there. But feel for those top two. I mean, the Braden Fisk and the
Yeah.
Avila. If Braden Fisk
Yeah.
isn't playing, I mean, this is a whole different type of game for that run game. I mean,
Right.
he's a
Right.
really good pass rusher, but he's also a great run stuffer in the middle of that
Yep.
in the middle of that defensive line for
And,
those guys.
and as we know, last year Barkley ran for 200 plus in both games, so
Yes,
it's definitely something to look forward to. But hopefully that opens up and helps us get the pass game going.
yeah. Aside from the Super Bowl, of course, because that's that all the obvious ones. Is that the biggest highlight of last year? Just the 2 Rams games? Do those hold the most highlights? I think for us.
I would think so, especially since the first game, the Sunday night game, Barkley was just unbelievable, and
Yeah,
then to
that was
duplicate it again, what
yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8 weeks later, and to surpass what he did the first time you played him,
Yeah,
you'd
and
think that you would kind of spy him or something.
in different places, right? We play the Rams in SoFi during the regular season, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
that's the crazy thing. It'd be one thing if you do it twice at home, twice away and then at home. It just in different weather conditions. One's a
yes.
dome, one was a snow game. It's pretty. It's actually incredible. It's
It's so
incredible.
funny because you know how much everyone loves the snow games. At least
Yeah,
my family, my brother
Eagles
and
fans.
my sister, they get all excited, and then you're like, oh wait, no, we don't want the snow. It's slowing us down.
It
It
is.
slowed them down, but it kind of hampered us somewhat too.
Yeah.
So
I thought it helped them in the
yeah,
end
but
for some
the
reason.
fact that they play outside, yeah, but if you had read into that game, they said Stafford in the snow is like really bad. And I
Yeah.
went, well, he's not really bad right now because he was
No,
just killing it. So
he was. He was.
a pro is a
Um,
pro, I think.
That's right.
He was a pro.
All-time record between these two teams. We lead it. Eagles leading it at 25, 20, and 1. In the last 25 years, it's 11 and 4 that we have the jump on them. I didn't bring up postseason numbers, Dad, but we seem to, we have the edge on them for quite a while, and we definitely had an edge on them in the last 25 years.
So now it's funny that you bring up the all-time record because some of those games were when they were the Cleveland Rams, which they
Correct.
weren't the Los Angeles Rams until I think 1950. No, it was a little bit earlier than that.
A little earlier than that. We played them
Maybe
in
40.
47. We played them in 47, and they were in 45. They were still Cleveland. In 47, they were LA. So maybe in 46
Okay.
or 47.
And of course, as all Eagle fans know, we beat the LA Rams in the NFL championship in 1949,
Correct.
14
Yes,
to
that is
0.
correct.
But the
Yep, that's
stat
right.
I have, Baz, is 14 and 4 the last 35 years against them,
Okay.
9 and 1 in the last 10 in the last 20 years. So we
Gotcha.
play them every other year for the last, well, really, we started playing them a bunch from 17 on. It's like we seem to be playing them every year. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're 9 and 1 in the last 10. So that's pretty good.
So 4 times in the postseason, 2-2. We have them.
Oh,
Yeah, we won an NFL championship against them. We won the divisional game against them last year. They beat us in an NFC championship, and I believe they beat us in a divisional game a little bit
I would
earlier than
say
that. Wild
89
card.
they beat us
That's
in
right. 89.
89.
Good job. Good
And
job.
and
Wild card.
then in 2001,
Yep. That's right.
that's when they beat us with. We had them at halftime too. Donovan, we were really doing good, but they were still coming off the greatest show on turf, and they beat us in the second half
Yeah.
to go to the Super Bowl.
And
I
lose.
think they lost to the
Yeah.
Patriots that year.
They
Yeah.
lost to it was Brady's first Super Bowl. If the Eagles win that game, do we win the Super Bowl?
Boy, I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Okay. Impossible
All I know
questions.
is we always talk about this. In my opinion, winning the Super Bowl in 17 was the greatest. If we won it in 80, if we won it in 2004,
I agree.
17 for some reason was just phenomenal.
It had to be. I know.
So
I know. All right,
that's my pick.
let's get into some matchups. So, got some numbers on both the teams here. Again, we know it's a very very small sample size, only 2 games in the season. So, but we'll talk a little bit about them. So, I didn't write down any actual matchups. We'll kind of just come up with them along the way. Again, wasn't super prepared. I kind of was forgetting we had to record until about 20 minutes ago when I texted you.
I was waiting.
But yeah, let's get into it. So, defensively, the Rams have been really good this year. They're 6th overall in yards per game. They're 4th in passing yards allowed and 1st in points per game. They're 14 points per game. They're the best scoring defense right now.
Yeah, well, week one probably should have lost that game. They won 14-9. We watched a lot of that game, and they didn't look
Terrible.
good at all. It
Terrible
did not
game.
look at all. And of course, we knew we were playing them in a couple of weeks, but they played the 2 T teams, Tennessee and Texas. So Texas pretty good, Tennessee not so good. But so yeah, your defensive numbers are going to look good, but that's okay. I mean, it's a week to week thing in the NFL anyway. So what you did last week, throw it out the window until about week 7 or 8 when you really are hitting stride every week and
That's who
you're
you are.
established and you know what you're going to do. And that's a running team, that's a rushing team. So we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the offensive matchups. Number one, it's surprising to see that they're fourth in passing yards per game. Again, played against Tennessee. You almost got to throw that one out. They're the worst passing team in the league. They're behind us in passing yards. I mean, that's how low they are. We're 31st. Wow. They're 32nd. So maybe give that one a slide. But the surprising thing about that one is their corners not great. We know one of them pretty well, named Emmanuel Forbes, used to play for the Washington Commanders, was absolutely humiliated. Absolutely humiliated by A.J. Brown in that game in 2023.
A.J.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things we were talking about. They are 21st in the red zone this year as far as scoring. So that's going to be a big key as well for us to keep them out of the end zone.
Yep, definitely. Well, we're on our offensive right now, so hold on a second there. Next big thing is going to be the rushing yards. We're 7th in the rush. They're 17th against the rush, so they're not great. So we average 140 per game. They've let up 111. Not a great defense at rushing there, so we do think that this can be the game that we can break open some runs. Problem is, this is the team we did that against last year. You think they might be looking to stop that?
You would think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They didn't do it the second time we played them. So
I know it's true. And then the last thing I have written down really is obviously the offensive line versus the defensive ends. But I'm going to go Jalen Hurts, obviously, against himself. Dude's got to throw the ball. There's been a lot of blame thrown around the first few weeks while we're struggling to get the ball downfield. Some people think it's Kevin Patullo. Maybe some people think the wide receivers aren't getting open, which is an unacceptable answer. And then the one that I've been kind of saying on Sunday when we recorded after the Chiefs game. I'm not trying to drag Hurts in this podcast, but that's not time for this right now. But it has been a struggle. So what do you think there is the offense and Jalen Hurts' passing?
Well, I mean, it has been stale. It's been stagnant. Last week, I think some of the routes they called were not that good. AJ ran 7 or 8 just slants, and instead of, down and outs or down and ins or whatever, they just seem to, for some reason, I don't know if, I know we talked about his hamstring or whatever, but just the fact that he wasn't really running any of the big routes, is kind of, and from what I saw, there was a lot of good coverage last week. Every time I looked, but Jalen had
it's a good defense over there. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this guy is leading the league. He's got the most time to throw per game, and I think he's second lowest in yards downfield or yards per attempt. I can't remember exactly the stat. I don't want to misquote it. Right. But it's not looked good, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, we know with three plays of 10 plus yards passing, that's it in 2 games. That's unacceptable when you have 2 big time wide receivers. So that's something they got to obviously change. So hopefully, like you say, they can lean on the run game, and then when they throw the ball, not be afraid. I think it's just they've been too conservative. I mean, I think they just, we know we could beat them if we play defense and just don't limit the turnovers. I think we need to start getting a little more out of our bounds and just try and maybe go through the throat a little bit earlier. So,
yep. Let's talk about the defensive side of things for us. Rams offense been pretty good so far this season. 7th in yards per game with 382. 7th in passing yards at 257. And their big number I got to see that I pointed out, 5th in the third down percentage. They convert 48% of the time, which is not good for our number because our defense is 25th, tied for 25th at letting up third down percentage. Really, really bad. They allow 47.8% of the time the other team to get that first down on third down. So that's not good. Really bad.
No, I could have told you that too, especially from the first game of the season. We seem to give up a lot of third downs. And then, of course, last week, same thing. But I think, again, I don't know, if you were to cut it up and say first half versus second half of the game, I think it's probably a pretty drastic change. So early on, they were getting a lot of third downs. I think late in the game, we kind of, except for that one drive, we kind of stuffed them in both games. So I still think it's just a matter of, getting familiar with each other. Your communications maybe not there all the way. You got some new fellas on there, so but yeah, you're definitely fighting a really good pass offense.
Yeah.
Both wide receivers they have are great. They have two or three really decent tight ends as well. So
Yep.
they're going to have their hands full. But
And
the thing I think we have to rely on and hope for in this game is getting Stafford off his mark. Just move him around. Don't let him get comfortable at all. And you could see it last week. Mahomes was never comfortable. Not
never.
as uncomfortable as the Super Bowl, but he was never comfortable. There was times that we didn't get the sacks. We didn't have the numbers. We want to get 10 a game, but we only had two. A third was called back for some silly penalty. But, at the time, I think, if we can just move him, maybe not sack him, just move him around, we should be in good shape.
Yeah.
So I think we're getting tighter and tighter in the defense, Len.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, you got to sack Stafford. You got obviously every week. It doesn't feel like it's good analysis to say, well, you got to get the quarterback because that's obvious. But this is a quarterback who cannot move. He's got back surgery before the season. He can't run. He's still got a great arm. He can still sling it. He's always been able to do that. He used to be a pretty solid runner as far as getting downfield. Not super fast, but he would take hits and he'd run guys down. Those days are over. This is a guy that you got to put him on his back, got to put him on the ground, and get him, like you said, off his mark and uncomfortable. So last real big matchup is going to be this defensive line against the offensive line. Zadarius Smith, with his first outing for the Eagles last week, was great. Unfortunately, Josh Uche hasn't shown up on the stat sheet with any sacks, but he still has played really well as far as percentage.
Top PFF guy for pass rate, whatever they call that.
Win percentage.
But I've seen him, but I need sacks to really make it count. But I think this game it's maybe less sack, but more just move him around, uncomfortable, keep him uncomfortable.
Yep.
Tip a few at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Dad, I don't have anything for special teams really. There's nothing special about either special teams right now. Obviously, we got Jake Elliott, who's been really great this season so far. And as far as our kick returners, punt returners, Dotson's been fine as the punt returner. And then with Shipley out, kick returners should still be Mechie and I think Tank Bigsby now. So,
yeah, from what I heard last week, Tank was back there, but they just kept kicking it away from him. I don't think they wanted any part of it.
It makes sense
because I kept saying, I didn't know he was on. He was on the field, and I heard he was. They just never kicked it his direction. So hopefully this week he can get one or two, and we can see what he's got. You know what I mean? Because it'd be nice to see one of our guys making some moves. But I think so far, special teams are not. Kick return, get me to the 25, 30. I'm happy. If it's going to go in the end zone on a punt, let it go in the end zone. I think we caught one last week early, which we shouldn't have done. But I think it's more of a defensive offensive game, and the special teams hopefully aren't going to play much into it.
Any thoughts on that, Dad? Obviously the big talk recently, aside from just the tush push, there's been a lot of talk about the field goals and just how guys are making it from 65, 64 yards. Justin Tucker was making it from 66 a couple times, and we got a guy who's the most accurate kicker in NFL history from 58 yards and out. So you just have to wonder at some point, what are people going to do? I mean, obviously, you and I have always talked about it. Ever since the 13-second game with the Chiefs and Bills, you got to go back to the 20-yard line. No more 30. Now it's 35 if they kick it out of the end zone. Just stop.
2 first downs, you're kicking a field goal.
Yeah, you need to go back to the 20-yard line. It's too much. It's too much.
So I learned something this week that I did not know. They used to have the balls for the kicking balls. Used to get them the day before. You can rough them up. Now they get them a week before.
Yeah.
So by the time that they're kicking these field goals, the special teams have worked those balls into be, marshmallows, soft, not that hard coating on it. Maybe go back to just getting them the day before because it's getting to the point where it's almost ridiculous. 64-yarders. In my day, a 45-yarder was not a gimme. Now 55 is a gimme. It's funny how they say, 40 is the new 30 or 30 is the new, you know what I mean? Well, now the 55er is like the old 35-yarder. It's getting to be silly. I would like to see it do something. They did talk about, I heard some, narrowing the flare or moving the crossbar up, and Then there was one where they were talking about putting a lid on the top and the bottom, so you got to put it in a box. I don't think they'll ever do that. But
I know, I don't think so. It'd be kind of funny to see.
But there was one I heard this week to where if you kick a 50 and higher, 50 to 55, you get 1 point or
less
3
points.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 point, 40. And then if it's inside the 20, you get 3 points.
Yeah.
This way, they're trying to make more offense.
Exactly. Like why would a field goal, why should a field goal from 50 be the same as a field goal from 20? When you drove down further, you deserve more points. I've heard it. I thought that was kind of funny too. I think it'd be cool to see, but it'll never happen.
Cool. But it'll never happen. But what a cool idea, right? I mean, that was a cool idea. So anyway.
I agree. Dad, do you have a player to watch?
Yes, I do. The player I'm going to be watching this week is going to be Moro Jomo, or the other tackle, not Carter, but the other tackle, because like you say,
just choose a player, Dad.
All right. Well, let me have Moro Jomo then.
Okay.
I'll take it. Yeah, but that's what I'm going to be looking for because with the double team of Carter and the way he's been playing, that other side with the guard, because Carter usually lines up on the other side, not the other side. You know what I mean? He's on the right side on their line, not the left side. So yeah, Moro Jomo is my guy.
Yep, that's right. Next, mine's going to be Jihad Campbell. I think this is going to be a big. It's funny because you would expect this to be a big wide receiver game because they got the receivers. We should have mentioned that in the matchups, because they got obviously Puka Nacua and DeVonta Adams out there, and we still have Adoree Jackson running out there who played better against the Chiefs, but still not the ideal player to have opposite Quinyon Mitchell. So the big thing for me, I surprisingly, I think this is going to be a big tight end game, especially if we get the pressure that I'm thinking we might be getting. I think if we send some blitzes, I think those linebackers are going to be a big deal. So I got Jihad Campbell as my guy. He's going to be, it's going to be a big deal. Those checkdowns to Parkinson if he plays, and Higbee, of course, both really good, solid tight ends who can catch the ball at any time. Right. I think this is going to be a big deal for the linebackers, and Jihad Campbell especially. I think he's going to get some blitzes, and I think he's going to also have a lot of tackles in space to limit the yards that those tight ends get.
Well, I'll tell you, if you watched, I don't know if you got to rewatch the game because it's hard the first time you watch it, but I'll tell you what, that out pass, we have some great coverage that come up and just don't let them. The play Makuba made, but there was other tackles where they just come up and give the guy 2 yards and knock him down. And I think, like you say, if the pressure is there, especially repeatedly, they're going to start doing dump offs. And as long as we're not leaving guys wide open, kind of like last week, there was a few guys on the left side that were open. And I'm like, where's our guy? Like to keep them honest, Yeah. I think if that's it, that would be a key to the game.
Yeah, dude, Makuba had you could say he had 2 or 3 of the biggest plays of the game. I mean, obviously he had the pick, and then he had that stop, the third one to make them go for it on 4th down and not get it. He had a great game. He's a good player.
It's so funny. Now, the play after that, the 4th and 1, everyone was talking about how Nolan Smith made the play, but I really saw Carter and I forget who was the other defensive tackle that made the play on. I think it was Jordan Davis, but they stuffed the line so nuts that the running back had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think Nolan Smith kind of got back there. He hit the lead blocker, and it made the running back go whoa and stumble around and kind of slowed everything down.
Exactly. But it's funny because it really. I mean, a few of them had said it wasn't just him; it was the other guys. But that interior line, it's not quite where we want it to be, but it is definitely getting better. Yeah, having Carter on the field was nice.
Yes. Yep. Anything you want to say about this game before we get into our predictions? Any other matchups you want to touch on? Players you think will be good? I don't want to say players because you'll choose 20. But any other matchups you want to shout out?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to keep your eyes on Adoree Jackson again to see how not really to see how he does, but how they do their coverage. Is Quinyon going to strictly stick with DeVonta Adams and then or Puka? But Puka does a lot of the slot stuff, so I would probably think DeVonta is going to be on the outside more, and just how they play. It's just going to be interesting to see the chess match in that how those they're going to cover. If they're going to one guy's going to pass off Nacua because he's so good. That guy's really became a great receiver. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yep. And I should also point out the fact that they do have other defensive ends who are pretty good. Byron Young's had a great season so far. I think he's got 3 sacks already. The other Byron Young, not the Eagles Byron Young. Yeah, they've got another good defensive lineman there, and Cam Curl, the safety. I always thought he was a pretty good player too. I think he's back there for the Rams now at safety. So no,
Right.
there's good players for them all over their defense. They haven't been a
Yeah.
great rushing defense, or sorry, they haven't been a great defense overall, except for scoring defense, I guess. But I think
Right.
they have some pretty good players scattered around that team.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch. I mean, they can blitz. They have that their front four are really one of the better in the league as well. So
Oh
Verse
yeah,
and a couple of the other guys are really good, and they're
yeah.
young and
It,
they're still learning their piece. So
Yeah. I guess I should have said there's no, I shouldn't say they're not a great defense because they've been good. I mean, there's no major star on their defense.
right,
They have a solid defensive line. Verse and Fisk, maybe they will be stars one day. I think they're
right,
still gonna, they got to
yeah,
grow into that, but they're both still really good players. Byron Young, a good player. And then, like I said, the guys I mentioned. So it's just a really solid team all around, top to bottom on that defense.
they are. We're just gonna have to exploit their running game and exploit
Yep.
their defensive backs, and hopefully AJ can have his way with Forbes, like you were saying
Need it.
earlier.
Have to have it.
Yes.
Yes. Dad, let's get into the score prediction. I'm gonna let you go first. What do you got for the score prediction?
So I have 21-17. I
Okay.
think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think it's going to be that high shootout that everyone thinks it might be. It's going to be a hard fought game. I could see us putting maybe, 20, maybe 24 points on the board. I don't think we're going to score that often, but I'm also looking, I have down here 3 sacks and 2 interceptions is what I'm looking for. So
Wow.
I'm hoping that the pressure is there. That's really the key to this, our defensive game against them is making him not get comfortable at all and get some hits on him. And I think we can do that. I think we have the defensive line. I think the maturity is there now. We've had 3 games, 2 games. This is the 3rd game. So I think that's going to be what we need and what we'll see.
Sounds good. I've got a little bit of a similar score, but I have a little bit more point differential. I've got 27-14. I chose a pretty close game last week. I chose a blowout week one. I was wrong. But I chose 27-14. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I do think our defense is going to be able to keep them down a little bit. I think it might be, obviously close in the first quarter, in the first half, and then I could see us kind of taking it away come quarter number 4.
Kind of like we always do, right?
Yeah, I
Kind
know.
of,
I'm Captain Easy Stance,
yeah.
Captain
But I
Obvious.
think, like you say, the running game, if we can do what we've done the last 2 times we've played them, and keep them out of the end zone, we should be in good shape.
Yeah. All right, let's give a reminder to like and subscribe. Comment down below what your score predictions are for this game. We'd love to see them and who you think might be your player to watch going into the game. Dad, let's get into some of the other games around the NFL. Some fun ones coming up. Big one that I have to point out of note right away: the Raiders and the Commanders. Jaden Daniels not going to be playing in that game, Dad.
Yeah, what's the heck? I mean, what's the deal? I mean, I did see him get hit a few times last week, but I
Yeah,
didn't. I really didn't think he'd miss the game. I thought for sure he'd be in there. And then, of course, I saw today, and I was like, which is the good thing to have the pod on Friday because now you got the
it's
official
true. It's
report.
true.
He's not a maybe; he's an out. So that's going to
Yeah.
change their game. It's going to be Marcus Mariota starting for the Commanders. The
Hey,
Raiders, Raiders weren't really bad last week. I mean, they kind
eh,
of. I mean, they were in it
yeah,
for a
they were
while, but
tough. They were tough.
yeah, they were in it for a
I
while.
mean, their defense did better than you thought.
Yeah,
Offense, of course, only scored 9 points. The defense had some turnovers where they let up 20 points. And
yeah.
that's not bad. And I think they also, like I said, I think they had some turnovers. They had some fumbles. Let me see. Total turnovers. Yeah, the Chargers had 2 fumbles, but only 1 lost. I don't think there was
Okay.
any interceptions, no. But of course, the big thing was Geno threw 3 picks, including one on the first play of the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big game for really our divisional stance. I mean, the Commanders, who we kind of agree, and most of the NFL media agrees, they're the biggest threat to us in that NFC East. Obviously
Right.
things change throughout the season, injuries like this happen, but this is a big deal
Yeah.
for if the Commanders lose this game at home.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is brutal, man. This will be a brutal one.
Plus this early. I mean, we know
Yes,
Jaden can run the ball, and he does run the ball. And sometimes I saw the shot he took, and it was a pretty good shot. So I mean, you got to learn. You can't just running the ball all the time is not going to work.
definitely. All right. And next one, I want to point out the Jets and the Buccaneers playing in Tampa Bay. Obviously, we play Tampa Bay next week. That's why we'll point them out. They've played really great this season. Tampa Bay, they're obviously 2-0. Baker's been incredible. I have him in fantasy. It's unfortunate because I don't want to cheer for him, but he had a great game-winning drive. He was great running the ball. He's been great throwing the ball. The Falcons and they beat the Falcons and they beat the Texans. Both really close games came down to the wire. So their defense hasn't been fantastic. They got some good players on that team, but still hasn't been a very good defense. They're I guess I should say they've been okay. They're letting up only 19 points and 20 points.
Right.
But the offense hasn't really held up its end of the bargain, even though Baker's been great.
Yeah, it's funny because that Texans game, the Bucks game, they had an opportunity to run the clock out. Like they scored the touchdown with too much time again, and they had enough to be able to try and slow it down, but they took it in, and then Baker got it.
Well, they scored with
got the ball back.
It doesn't have the time. I hate when it doesn't have the time stamp on the score
Oh,
on the touchdown. I hate when it
was
doesn't have
late
the
in the
time stamp.
game.
I thought they scored. I'm pretty sure they scored with like 7 seconds left. Dad. I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I'm talking about Texas. They scored and then gave the
Oh,
ball
I'm
back.
sorry. Yes, Texans.
And,
Yes, that's
it
true.
was one of
My
those
bad.
things where, and I know you can't go down at the 1 yard line, but I mean,
So difficult.
sometimes if the clock is there and you're ahead, and you could maybe get them out of their zone. But what
Yeah.
happens sometimes when you score and then you give the ball back and you're like, well, I didn't think they were going to win that game. I thought they played pretty well. I was obviously cheering against them, but I didn't see him bringing them back as far as he did because I think they had a fourth down at one point on that last drive and they got the first down, and it was pretty. I don't know. I just didn't think he was going to do it, but Baker's
Um,
playing great.
yeah. I'm going to break some tradition here, Dad. Obviously, I said I only like to choose 5 games, but there's a couple more games I have to throw out there. Bengals
Right,
and the Vikings. This has to be mentioned just because you know who's playing quarterback for the Vikings on
Carson.
Sunday. Going to be Carson Wentz. It's a bummer that it's at the same time as our game because I'd like to focus more on it
Right.
than I wish I could focus more
Yeah,
energy and my eyes on it, but not going to be
I
able to really
agree.
get it. We'll try to get it on the second TV, but still.
Yeah,
Bengals. What do you think, Dad? I mean, Carson Wentz can be throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson.
yeah. I mean, and that he's a great receiver, and the Vikings are a good team. Unfortunately, now that they changed quarterbacks last year, they were 14-3 or something like that, and
Yeah, they
they were
were.
really good. So it wasn't like it was just one player making all the moves. So we'll see it. Also, Carson, this is his sixth different team that he's starting for in 6 years. It's
Yeah,
like an NFL record type thing.
correct. It's the first time since 1950. I think I saw that it said. Yeah, and I try to do them in my head. So it's the Eagles in 2020. It's the Colts in 21. The Commanders in 22. The oh, I lost it
Rams,
already. The Rams in 23, great job. The Rams in 23, and then last year was the Chiefs in 24. He started the last
right,
game of the season, and then
right,
yeah, this will be number 6. So
yeah,
six,
yeah.
yep, 6 teams in 6 seasons starting the starting game for them. It's pretty cool.
There's your trivia question. If anyone
Yeah.
ever asks you,
And
you'll know.
like I said, he's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, quarterback he should have been throwing to in 2020 if we had drafted the right guy.
That's
I
right.
digress.
You're right,
Uh,
though.
Next one, big one. Not in the NFC. It's going to be an AFC matchup. This one definitely will be watching once the Eagles game's over. Broncos Chargers in
Okay.
LA. Huge game. Chargers are on a
Yeah,
hot streak. They're on a
they
roll.
are.
Broncos are on the downward. Not a great season beginning for them. Should have lost week 1. Didn't and should have won week 2, but
Right.
lost on a horrible mess up at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Dad,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts here?
Well, that's why you don't do that with the kicker. You don't do that nonsense. You just
I
can't
get
do
it.
it.
I know we said the 60 is the new 50, and it's a lot
Yeah.
easier now, but you got to make a guy kick a 60-yarder. You can't mess up for a
Yeah.
penalty like that.
No, no. He missed it and then he got to re-kick it.
Yep,
It's kind of like
15 yards closer.
the punt block last night. Same thing. What are you doing? You just
Yeah.
shut a team down. You just get the ball back.
All right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that was a tough one.
Yep.
A couple
Let's
penalties in that last drive. That was
for
tough.
sure. Next one, Cardinals Niners. Not much to note here, but we got to point out the Niners still 2-0 despite losing their quarterback for a few weeks. Looks
Yeah.
like McCorkle Jones should be starting for them again. I believe Purdy is still listed as out. I don't know for sure. Do you know
Yeah.
about that? He
I
is.
didn't see out, but I I know he's still. They
It
said
says
2 to 5 weeks. So
highly unlikely to play, so I think that means he's
yeah,
out. Yep.
yeah, which I
Next
thought
one,
too. And it'd
yeah,
be interesting to watch Kyler Murray to see if he can win a game he should win
yeah. Oh,
because
absolutely.
he's
They're 2-0.
up and down career.
Cardinals secretly, 2-0. It's a very
Two and
quiet
zero.
beginning of the season, but they're 2-0. They've won
Yeah,
the games that they're supposed to.
that's right.
Next one, next two games, the divisional games. Cowboys taking on the Bears in Chicago. Cowboys favored 1.5 points right now. The line was shifting a lot here and there, but they are favored. Dad, what do you think? Got any hopes here? The
Yeah,
Bears get an upset?
yeah. It's funny. I thought the Bears were -1.5. I thought I saw that
See,
early in the week.
it's been shifting a
Okay,
lot.
I thought that was odd, but we'll see. I mean, the Bears, they just kind of they looked good week one for about a half, and then it collapsed. So who knows what's going to happen with that game? And then of course, we played Dallas week one, and last week they gave up 5,000 yards passing, which was, I
Yes,
mean, literally almost 500 yards passing, which is
it's incredible.
unheard of. And
A
it was
quarterback
Russell
who
Wilson.
a
So
quarterback who's looked terrible for the last 2.5 seasons.
yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't lay a nickel on that game if I had to.
No, I would agree. Next one, Chiefs, Giants. Just do this one quick. Sunday night game. I don't think there's a chance. The Chiefs are favored 6.5. I don't think
Yeah,
there's a chance the Giants win it, but there's a lot of people believing in it. I do see the path if the Giants somehow did what they did last week. I mean, can the Chiefs score that many points?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I
I
don't,
don't. The Giants
Giants have a solid defense, really solid defense.
until Rice, until Xavier Worthy,
Worthy.
Rashee Rice, and Kelsey are all on the field together. I don't see the Chiefs scoring anywhere near 37, 40 points. And that's what the Giants
Yeah,
scored last week. Obviously,
yeah,
Dallas has just a terrible defense. Chiefs defense is much better. But
yeah,
I still just don't. I can't picture a chance. I can't picture a world the Chiefs start 0-3.
yeah. Well, they don't have a running game at all. I mean,
None.
I don't understand
None.
it. It's been that way for a couple of years now. You'd think they would have tried to, they had to fix their offensive line, obviously, but
Yeah.
no running back. They just have no running game at all. And I mean, other than Mahomes running it, but he can't do that. He's going to end up like Daniels on the sideline. You
Yeah.
can't do that. They'll hit you harder and harder when the more you run. I mean, we
Yeah.
shut them down in the second half. I mean, I just don't. I don't see him scoring that many points until they get it together. Which
Yeah.
who knows?
Who
Kelsey's getting
knows?
older. I mean, it's going to be. I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. And then last game of the week we want to touch on Lions playing the Ravens, the Monday night game. Great Monday night game.
Finally,
It's a
a
it's
good
a
game.
bummer. It's a bummer because the Sunday night game is terrible with the Chiefs Giants. But yeah,
Yeah,
Lions Ravens, great Monday night game.
yeah, I agree. Two teams. I mean, we don't really know who we are yet, but the Lions, they've been good. They put up 52 last week. The Ravens have been the Ravens like they are for the last 3 or 4 years. They just are a solid team. They can run the ball. The quarterback can run and throw. So that'll probably be the best game of the weekend, other than the Eagles blowout.
I agree. Yeah, well, who would you pick to win that game? I don't usually ask you this, but
I would pick the
Ravens
Ravens.
Lions.
I don't know
Okay.
who's home, but
It's at home, so I also would pick the Ravens.
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because their total is set at 53.5. At the work predictions, I put 73 would be the total points scored in that game. So
Wow.
I think it's going to be a very high flying game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Ravens defense kind of blew it 2 weeks ago against the Bills, and the Lions
Right.
can score at will, but their defense has been terrible this year. So we'll
Yeah.
see. The Ravens also have just so many weapons. Lamar and Xavier and Derrick Henry, of course, so many great
So
players on
it's so
that.
funny. I hope it's a great game, but it's funny because I thought last night's game was going to be horrible, and I stayed until the fourth quarter, and I'm like, oh, Miami had a shot there. So I
Yeah,
think we're still in that situation. Anybody can win at this point. You don't really know who's what, but
yeah.
yeah, it was interesting because as
All
poorly
right.
as the Dolphins played,
Yeah.
they were in the game.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's say our goodbyes. We're about to run out of time. You can
All
follow
right.
us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok if you like Philly Eagles Therapy. Do us a favor, rate and subscribe. Subscription button should be right in front of our faces on the screen, and you can watch our last recap of the Chiefs game above my head right now.
Nice.
You can email us any questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.